Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, a lot of people are kind of questioning Carnival and their decision to send another ship to pick up the passengers after the fire on the Carnival Freedom instead of just flying them back. And, well, let's discuss that. So there's a couple things we can talk about. We can talk about the compensation offered, whether or not we think that's fair, as well as the decision to send another ship instead of flying people home. And people were saying that it's just strictly a cost-saving measure. You know, it will cost millions of dollars to send everybody home by renting jets to fly everybody home, 2,000 some people, multiple locations, etc. And they're just going on the cheap. They're just doing it because it's the cheap thing to do. And I have a little bit of a different opinion on that. I'm not always, on board with some of the decisions that cruise lines make. But however, when you think about this one, Turks and Caicos, it's not exactly the largest. It's not LAX, right? It's not New York City JFK. It's a small airport. They don't have hundreds of jets arriving every single hour like the big cities do. It would take time to book all these planes to come in. You have to charter them. The planes, airlines right now are having enough trouble getting pilots to their own planes. Numerous flights and destinations have all been canceled because they're still having trouble getting enough crew members on board to fill the ones that they already have scheduled, let alone all of a sudden chartering, a few dozen other airplanes to fly passengers home from Turks and Caicos. Could you do it by private jets? Yes, and again, that price is going to go skyrocketing, and again, it takes time to do that. You don't just pick up the phone and say, yeah, can you send me 40 jets tomorrow, please? And they're there. It does not work that way. It probably would take even longer than doing it the way they're doing it now. By sending the ship there, they have all the passengers, they know their destinations, they know when the ship is going to arrive in port, and they can schedule all the flights from that city and get passengers home to their destination all at one time. They're not going to be a few people here, a few people there, a few people tomorrow, a few people the next day. And that's exactly what would happen if it would take, if you started chartering planes from Turks and Caicos. No, there's no possible way that everybody would fly out the same day. And if it did, it would probably be 4 or 5 days later by the time they could charter the plane. So do I think they were going on the cheap? Maybe they're looking to save some money, but they weren't looking to inconvenience the passengers. I think they truly feel this was the most positive and best way to get everybody back in an organized way. Now, the compensation offered. If you had the drink package, if you had the Wi-Fi package, all that was extended for free during the cruise. No cost for the amount of time that you're staying on both this ship and the next ship coming to pick you up. Then you were also offered a 50% future cruise credit. Now, let's keep in mind, this was, I believe, the last stop of a 5-day cruise. So you've already had your 4 days, and then the fire happened on the last day, and now you're extended. They're offering you over 50%, and you're missing 20% of the cruise. Some may argue, well, yeah, but there was a fire on board. Yes. I'm kind of tossed. I'm kind of up and down on that situation on whether or not I think 50% was fair. I don't know. Should they have all been offered their money back being the last night of the cruise? I don't know. I know it is an inconvenience, and I know Carnival is picking up the cost for sending people home up to a certain point. And this is one of those recommendations, again, I've seen two stories where Carnival is arranging flights for people to fly them home, but then some people are saying that that's only for people who book through Carnival, book their flights through Carnival. If you book the flights on your own, they're offering you $200 per passenger to pay for your flights home. And right now, prices of airlines are through the roof. It's crazy how expensive some flights are nowadays. So again, that's one of those tips that if you look at your flights and you book through the cruise line, you have that little extra guarantee than you do if you book on your own. So saving $50 on your flight might not be worth it if you end up having to pay $500 down the road if something happens during your cruise because you didn't book through the cruise line. So that's why I always recommend a lot of people on going on my groups and things like that. You know what? If the price is similar or very, very close, book through the cruise line. You get that guarantee of making sure that if something happens, you're covered. Also, they will fly you if you miss your flight for some reason, a hurricane, a storm, a snowstorm, they will fly you to the next destination. It's all covered by booking through the cruise line. Booking on your own, you're on your own. And yeah, and it can be a mess. So that's one tip to go. So now we have, do we think it's the right thing? Personally, I think bringing the ship over, bringing people back is probably just as fast in the majority of the cases as trying to book a whole bunch of flights from a small airport in Turks and Caicos. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to try and schedule individual small planes and it would just be a logistical nightmare, and it would all have to be done like ASAP, where now they have the amount of time to organize. They have all the people's names, they have their destinations, they have the locations. They can arrange the flights as much, ahead of time. So yeah, it's a lot up in the air. Do you think 50% is enough? I don't know. I think you could argue one way or the other. Here's one of the things that I did disagree with. If you had the drink package and if you had the internet, it would carry over. You were allowed to continue with no charge. I think in this situation, if you're stuck on that ship for 4 days or another ship for 4 days, they should at least offer you the internet so you can keep in contact with your family, emails and things like that, your work, that should be included. Just as a sorry for your inconvenience, that should be included. Drink package, maybe at least the soda package, offer coffees, that sort of thing as compensation, because you are inconveniencing people for up to 5 more days of not cruise merriment, shall we say. Yes, you can eat on the cruise. You can go to the entertainment on the cruise, but you can't do shore excursions. You're not visiting places, and you're stuck. You're not, you could be late for your job. You could be late for your dog in the kennel. You could be late for a lot of things. And I think at a bare minimum, offering, a few free drinks during the day and your internet for your inconvenience is fair. I think that would be fair compensation, as well as the 50% cruise credit. But to only offer it to those who had already bought the package, I think at that point, when there's a mechanical failure and it's the ship's fault, I think at that point, you should be offering whatever conveniences you can give your passengers, especially something like the internet, where you can email family and friends and let them know you're okay. You can email your boss and let them know you're going to be late. You can call the kennel and let them know, by the way, I'm not going to be there to pick up my dog at the end of the week. I'll be 5 days later. All these things that can happen. So yeah, a lot of criticism going around right now. Not so much with the way they handled the fire or anything like that, but along the lines of how they're getting people back and the compensation offered. We'll see. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Do you think everybody should have been offered a free cruise? Do you think the 50% was fair enough? What do you think about offering them the internet just as an inconvenience bonus? I think myself, that should be a minimum offered to you if you get stuck on a cruise ship through no fault of your own, but due to a mechanical failure on that ship itself. Well, I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Till next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.